Hi everyone and welcome to the show. As always, it's a Corvette conversation on Coffee with Conti. I'm glad that you guys are here, but first, a little hat tip to our friends at Corvette Racing. In fact, on today's show, I have a clip from the broadcast of the Rolex 24-hour race where Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are talking about Corvette. And then we're going to hop in a car with Jordan Taylor, and he's going to take you around Daytona in a C8R. And we even have a delivery clip today with the gentleman going home to Georgia, and he gets not one, but two send-off pats? How did that happen? We also have feedback from Taj, Bob Lutz, and Mary Barra, all on today's show. If you don't have an opportunity to watch this in its entirety, please come back and check it out. I know you're just going to love the Corvette conversation today on Coffee with Conti. All right, let's talk about the possibility of Corvette becoming an SUV. Easy now, guys, easy. I mean, if you look at the Blazer grille, you see the Stingray emblem in there. Is that a hint of what's to come? And I'm not saying that we take away from Corvette's heritage, but rather add diversity to this iconic nameplate. More on that in just a second. First, let's take a look at some sport and luxury lines and what they're doing with their SUVs. Well, we have to start by looking at Porsche. Last year, their SUV sales were 67% of their sales, 41,668 units. Wow. Rolls-Royce, they're working on some ultimate luxury SUV. It's going to come with a V12 and starting over $300,000. Maserati's SUV starts at $73,000 and already it's 40% of its sales. And Aston Martin is working on a DBX electric SUV concept. And Bentley, well, they have a crazy list of options. Started their SUV back in 2016. It starts just over $200,000. Last year, it's now 33% of its sales. Looking at Lamborghini, last year, 8,205 Lambos were sold worldwide. Now that's up from 5,750 in 2018. The Urus is a 641 horsepower SUV that starts at $210,000. It does 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Now, out of that 8,205 sold last year, nearly 5,000 were of the SUV Urus. And Ferrari's going to jump in the SUV game as well, 2021 or 2022, and their model will start at $350,000. But they said, we're not going to call it an SUV, it will be an FUV, a Ferrari utility vehicle. Okay. So what type of client would appeal to a Corvette SUV? Well, still professional, a family, and maybe that person that has the need to carry something more than that someone special. What type of motor? Rumor is maybe the Cadillac Blackwing. Now, I've said it before, and Bob Lutz has shared the same thoughts of an SUV Corvette not being from another model, such as Blazer, Traverse, but rather our own chassis, our own design. But I say it needs to be affordable, $65,000 to $90,000. Bob Lutz thinks it should be much higher. Here's his thoughts on a recent interview with Autoline After Hours.
And I think Corvette could be a brand, or at least a sub-brand, that could easily take additional models, provided that they're not off of some shared architecture. You know, it'd have to be Corvette specific, but I could see a Corvette version of a Porsche Cayenne, for instance. And I could see a low four-door sport utility with all of the performance potential of a Corvette, and I think it would expand the brand. And I think it's easier going with the image momentum. With Cadillac, you're always fighting negative momentum, you know, past beliefs about Cadillac and so forth. You're always fighting that. Corvette comes without all that baggage, and the momentum that you would get by, say, doing a $110,000 ultra-fast, ultra-low, four-door sport utility, boy, I bet you it would really expand the that brand presence and profitability.
So last year, Mary Barra was cornered and asked about the possibility of a Corvette SUV. She didn't say no comment. She went on to say, "I appreciate that you think our Corvette franchise is very strong," and then quickly declined to discuss future products in typical General Motors fashion. So from an engineering standpoint, where we are right now with the C8 mid-engine Corvette, it would be some work to create a Corvette SUV. Taj on J. Lono Garage, well, you could tell, I think it's fair to say you could tell that he wants no part of a Corvette SUV.
My all-time favorite thing is there's no Corvette SUV.
That's your favorite thing, is there? Because I get that question all the time. Why don't you do a Corvette SUV? Porsche does it. Why don't you do it?
No, I don't. Well, they have to do it.
But Corvette has been successful, I think, because we've stuck to our knitting. You know, we keep focused on what we do, and people say, "Oh, we've deviated from what we do." It's still two-passenger car, V8 powered. It's the driving experience.
So, do we need a Corvette SUV right now? I would say probably not. There's a lot of great things about to happen with the C8 mid-engine Corvette. But I think it's a conversation we need to have, and it's one that's probably happening right now behind closed doors. You can continue that with your comments down below on this particular video. I do appreciate you participating and taking the time to watch.
We did see you hanging out down there in the Corvette pit. No coincidence, they got a brand new car. Is that sparking any interest in you ever driving in this race again?
Well, I'm loving what they're doing, right now with the mid-engine Corvette. I think, just the future is really bright for Corvette and Chevrolet. Obviously, a lot of attention around their first race with this car and being in such a prestigious race here at the 24. I would love to drive that car. I don't know, from the racing standpoint, you've done it in the GT class. It's so competitive. The driver lineup has to be so on their game. For me to come in here and do a one-off race would not make much sense, and I think I'm too old to prep for an entire season.
I thought we were putting a whole deal together to get silver drivers.
If I'll drive with Junior, we can maybe get Jimmy Johnson or Tony Stewart.
I'm making notes that are going to go the same speed as us.
Thank you.
Because we would come here and I'd work my guts out and still not give them 3/10 of Ron Fellows or Andy Pilgrim. And that just always bugged me, that I couldn't hold my end of the bargain out there on the racetrack. Luckily for me, I was pretty good in the rain. And when it did rain, I could kind of hold my own and run competitive lap times. But you always kind of felt like the weaker link, because these guys drive these cars all the time, and you're just never really going to be able to match what they can accomplish in the car.
My number one goal when I was here, whether it was testing, whether it was back at the shop doing pit practice, or here in the race, don't be the weak link. And unfortunately, the first time I got in the car, I was the weak link because I had to restart the car. We were leading under caution. I come in, I get in the car, I go into turn, whatever that is, 2 over there, the horseshoe, and hit a guy. I hadn't been in the car 5 minutes. So luckily I had to make up for that, and the rest of my race went really, really well, and I wasn't the weak link.
Taylor here, about to take you around a lap around Daytona in the brand new Corvette C8R. All right, here we are coming off NASCAR 4. Looks like a wet practice here, but we should have a dry race, which should be nice. Setting up for turn 1, you want to come up near the wall to try to get a straight line braking into turn 1, avoiding the painted lines, especially in the wet, as it's easy to lock up a front tire. Coming in, you're going to lose a lot of front grip across the apex here, understeering, trying to get to power. Struggling for traction, coming through this little turn 2 section, avoiding the curbs in the wet. Very slippery, braking in the middle of the track off the rubber and avoiding those painted lines. Going around the outside to avoid the polished rubber section on the inside of the track. Struggling for traction as you cross over that rubber again. But you want a good exit as you're leading onto a pretty long straight here coming to the dogleg. Dogleg's easy flat in the dry. Slight brake in the wet here as you lose a little bit of grip across the apex. Turn 5 braking is very tricky. It's hard to avoid the rubber. Gonna run around the outside of here again like turn 3. You're gonna have to cross the rubber on traction, which is difficult. Coming to turn 6 in heavy wet, you'll see a big puddle there on the right. Tricky corner here as the surface changes across the apex. You lose a ton of grip and obviously struggle big time on traction, but you want to get a really good exit there as it'll lead you on a long straight. Coming out of there, you're gonna have a lot of time now on the banking. Check your mirrors, check your gauges, talk to the crew, do whatever you want to do. Make sure the flags aren't blue. Coming around here, checking the radar system that we have in the nice Corvette C8R to make sure there's no prototypes coming. Setting up for the bus stop, we were braking around the 2 marker. right there in the wet. If you're brave enough, you'll touch the curbs in the wet. Keep your hands straight across them to not have a big snap oversteer, but focusing on a good exit there. You're going to lose grip right there over the painted lines again, but keeping your hands straight, setting up for NASCAR 3 and 4, checking the mirror again, checking the gauges, making sure fuel's all right, everything's good with the tire pressures. Coming off NASCAR 4, checking your mirror once again to make sure you're going to have a clean run into turn 1. There's pit lane on the left, and that is a lap around Daytona in the Corvette C8R.
Let's wrap up today's Coffee with Conti. I want you to meet Todd from Georgia. Let's find out why he's getting 2 send-off pats. This is so cool to share first ever Corvette purchases. Todd is here from Georgia.
Hello.
Welcome, man. Appreciate that very much. And he and I have some similarities as we're going through life. And I have 4 kids. He has 4 kids. And it's neat that you're doing something for yourself finally in your life. And here's the cool thing, guys. I know a lot of ladies watch the channel, but predominantly a lot of guys are on this channel. And he got the okay and almost a shove to go buy. She's like, go buy, would you just go buy your vet? He's like, right. Okay. Yep. You know, and it's just, you know, guys like us that are going through this and living the dream as we take care of our families, you almost feel guilty doing something for yourself. But it's neat that you're on board. The kids are excited for you. You want to say hi to the kids?
Hey.
Hey, all right, yeah, cool. And it's neat that your wife is supportive and you guys are looking forward to enjoying the car. And it was kind of neat and special to me. I'll tell you a little story on how this deal kind of came to be. This is a used 16 Z06. If I can step out of the shots here, you can see this real nice. And it's a Mr. Manual. And it was neat. So Todd sends me a nice email and says, hey, man, watch the channel and I would like to do business with you, but your other store has a car that we like, and I didn't have it. And ordinarily, I just would stay out of that, you know, not interfere. But because it's the YouTube channel, you guys know what a big deal that is to me. I'm the big picture guy, and I know this won't be your only Corvette. So,
probably not.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So we took a little test drive. So I said, yeah, we'll do the deal. And he flew up, and actually after my doctor's appointment, I was able to slide by, pick him up at the airport. So it's just a nice, smooth, fun day, sharing that with you guys on the vlog. But we did a quick test drive. Naturally, he's buying a used car. He's like, yeah, it looks good, but let me just drive it down the road before I pay for the darn thing. Totally get it. He hasn't driven a manual, what'd you say, like
15 years?
15 years. Yeah. Didn't miss a beat, man. It was fantastic. And boy, it was like, whoa. It's like, whoa. So what's your wife's name, Christy?
Christy.
Yeah. Christy, better hang on. There is a handle there. On the passenger side, you will need to hang on to that, okay? If you even have some of those grippy gloves.
I'll be nice, I promise.
The way he drives, you might need it.
Yeah.
He even said, he goes, I don't think my wife's going to like me driving like that. But he got it out of his system already on the test drive. Yep. And just shocked at how torquey the Z06 is. I can just tell you loved it. And I should have had the camera in the car. I wish I would have, because the look on his face, he's like, oh my gosh, this is great. So that's what this car's about. So kids, dad's in for a good time. You get to share those memories. And Christy, you're in for a good time. And I'm excited to be a part of it, man. So thank you.
Well, thank you for making that happen. I really appreciate it. And if you need to buy a Corvette, you gotta come see Rick. You'll never find a nicer guy in the car business ever. And he loves the car and he loves the customers.
Oh, fantastic. I love the free commercial too. Thank you.
You bet. My pleasure.
Oh, that's cool. It means a lot. You know what's funny too is we got out of the car and he goes, hey, after we get this paperwork stuff done and you show me how to use the car, he goes, my wife is really looking forward to you giving me a send-off, Pat. I said, okay. And you're actually going up for work. You're going to Ypsilanti.
Yep.
And you're going to be back in a week. And you're going to do the software upgrade to the magnetic ride control.
Yep.
Which, you know, and I just know in my heart, you said, Rick, is that worth it?
Yep.
I said, yes, it's worth every penny. It'll be, I mean, it's a great riding car now. This car came with the all-season tires on it. And yeah, we just got to show you, just so you know. Boom, a Mr. Manual. And it was funny too, you go, man, I really like the small steering wheel.
Yeah.
You know, so to date on Corvette, even going forward in C8, this car has the smallest steering wheel ever on Corvette. So just be careful. It's like riding a go-kart.
Yeah, right.
And I already seen how you drove, so
yeah, that's right.
Be real careful. All right, good.
No tickets.
Yeah, no tickets. Yeah, that's what his wife said too. She goes, don't get a ticket on the way home. Based on the test drive, I don't know if that's gonna happen. He's like, what the heck? All right, we'll be back with the send-off, Pat. Thanks for joining us. All right, so you would think that a guy that hasn't driven a stick in 15 years, he's getting ready, big pressure, big pressure. I'm trying to put some big pressure on you now, Todd. He knows exactly where I'm going with this. You would think that he's gonna stall on the vlog for the send-off pat. My thunder snow moment. Nah, I think he's good, man. I think he's good. Congratulations, going back to Georgia.
All right.
It is Todd, first ever Corvette. Yeah, man. Thanks, dude. Now, that's not sound effects put in there. That's actually kids across the street screaming. Probably not for Todd, but it was perfect timing. All right, so we're gonna record a second part of a vlog. And we have David back here from Virginia. He goes, hey, if you're gonna record a vlog, can you come out there and watch you guys? All right, watch me talk to myself? Sure, come on.
Because I want someone that can.
Yep. Future customer right there. Ricky planting them seeds, baby. Now wait a minute, didn't we just do the send-off pat for Todd to Georgia? And he's back again now. How you doing, man?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we told you he was coming back. Actually, when he left, he went to Michigan for work for a week, and it's unfortunate you got stuck in some snow up there, didn't you?
Yep, sure did. Sat in the parking lot for 4 days.
Well, he stopped back by here. He is on his way home to Georgia, so we're going to do a second send-off pat. We don't get a chance to do that too often. 2 send-off pats. That's pretty cool. But he stopped by here to actually have the Magnetic Ride software update done to the car, so I think you're going to notice a remarkable difference. What you'll notice is that difference in the touring will feel softer. Like when you're going over the overpasses and like over another freeway, you'll feel that kind of push just a little bit more. Nice. And then when you turn it to sport, don't drive in track unless you're on track. But when you turn it to sport, you will notice how responsive and how much more stiffer it is. And don't forget, like we talked about too, just another quick education for you guys, when you're turning that dial, you're not just changing suspension, especially on magnetic ride control cars. You're changing throttle progression, traction control, and steering feel. So be aware of what setting you're in, just for safety more than anything, you know what I mean? So how are you enjoying it so far?
I love that car. I cannot believe that car.
This is your first Corvette,
This is
right?
my first Corvette. Best experience I ever had buying from you, and I love it.
That's fantastic. Well, be safe going home.
I will.
Before we roll out of here, we're on the other side of the service now, so we'll give you a little send-off package, second one. And
Excellent.
Thanks again. Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
Very nice to
Appreciate
see you. Need anything? Got any questions, any buttons, you let me know. That's what I'm here for.
Sure will. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
fantastic. This is fun. All right, come on, you guys. So David's like, hey, what are you doing? This is where we do the send-off pat. Now, be careful. I just did it to Kevin on the vlog. Slap you in the head there, okay? I just met the guy too, man. Right, Todd's going back to Georgia for real this time. Have a safe trip. Thanks again for the business. I do appreciate it. Got a little send-off pat for you again, sir. Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, Todd. All right, man. As he leaves our runway driveway here. And that's how we do it.
You're the best here at Coughlin Chevrolet, Rick.
Thanks, man. I have a lot of fun. That's pretty cool. Can't wait to do yours.
Oh, I can't wait.
Next year, year after, whenever it is.
That's right.
I can't wait to do that. All right,
right.
let's see if we can go back to my office and BS just a little bit. You guys, I don't know, you guys do whatever you want. Just keep watching, I guess.